Welcome back to the Giants, guys. The G-Men lost their third straight game. They fall to 5-10 on the year, and they're still alive in the division. How? 2020, that's how. Let's jump in. Let's talk about who is to blame for this offense and how we're going to beat Dallas. Let's go.
Face, this is mine. It's angry. It's upset. It's disappointed. But hey, guess what?
It's
Happy
hopeful.
freaking New Year, people. It's the Giants, guys. You're listening. You're tuned in. You downloaded. You uploaded. You favored. And you shared. And you are with the boys. We're in the lab. We're cranking out. Yes, it's the podcast you love to hate. The Giants, guys. You remember me. Yeah, look at angry face because of course, we got a 3-game losing streak. And we're going to go over it. We're going to rip it apart. We're going to get into it. But 1, happy holidays. 2, happy New Year. Hope you had a great Christmas and Hanukkah. New Year's is on the way. It's basically the holiday for amateurs. So don't go out and do something stupid. All right. Let's dial into some Giants talk. Of course, you always know I am the owner and operator of nygiantsrush.com. That's what these guys do all the week long. They put their time into writing some great quality content. Though we're missing a Pilgrim's Point. We haven't had one in a while. We're going to get on Papa Pilgrim over there to crank one of those out.
He's got legit excuses.
Yeah, he's got legit excuses because he's had a kid and work and all that other stuff. So
I would love a half hour to write an article. Trust me.
Yep. See, what we haven't taught him yet is to hold the baby in one arm, type with the other, or just use like Grammarly or something and just speak it out. So
yeah.
I put all my thoughts on Twitter, so it's hard to save stuff for an article.
True.
Well, we got to get better at that too, right? So check them out on Twitter. You guys can find them there. You know Michael Stewart, you know Fresh, you know Spiro, you know Jeff, and of course, you know me because you love to hate me too. All right, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tell you what happened on Sunday. You already know the Giants lost. They're third in a row. We're not happy about it. The Ravens are definitely an elite team. They lost away in Baltimore 23-13. Kind of, ruined the holiday a little bit because, you were expecting them to come out of the tank firing. The unique thing about this situation, guys, is they're still in the playoff picture. So while we're not satisfied, and Michael Stewart just summed up the entire season in one motion, and that was so on that note, gentlemen, let's dig in a little bit. Listen to the Giants, guys. Please subscribe to YouTube. As we said, we're working on some other stuff that we're going to get going in the off season, where else you can find this. But for right now, subscribe to YouTube. It lets us know if you like what we are doing. All right. Unveiling section number 1. It's called No More Excuses, guys. I'm out of them. I don't know. I'm not really big in excuses, but like people say that I'm an enabler or, I'm making excuses for Gettleman and the Giants and all this stuff. So let's just say this. I don't want any more excuses. So let's do this. You're asking me a question. Yes, of course. They're right here. Show notes. We never let you down. You don't think I just wing this thing, do you? All right. So no more excuses. The Giants do not have the horses to compete with high-powered NFL teams. We kind of knew that, but then we got kind of giddy midway through the season when things started to go our way, and then we see any type of high-powered offense, Browns, Ravens, whatever it may be, Cardinals, you can see we can't compete on that level. We're unable to, I guess the word would be, shoot it out with these young gunslinger quarterbacks. We're just not able to compete in that arena. Whether it's Ingram, Slayton, or Mack, the team also continues to drop the freaking ball. Okay, like we can only win with mistake-free football, and we can't have our receivers dropping the ball. Right? Are we all in agreements there? Yeah,
True.
We're all in agreement. You can't win on any level with your receivers dropping the ball. Someone asked me today, like, if he drops a 2 and 5 route, who cares? I care. That's their job. Their
first
job
down
is,
right there.
Yeah, your job is to catch the ball, whether it's 1 yard, 5 yards, or 50 yards. Your job is to catch the ball. You get paid handsomely to catch the ball. No more excuses, man. This was look right here, big letters. Look, no more excuses. It's written down. I can't take any more excuses for these guys. I don't want to hear about the injuries. I don't want to hear about the offense. No more excuses. All right. Lamar Jackson throws, what was it? He went 17 for 26. He beat our ass with 186 yards passing. I mean, give me a break, right? Now here's where it kind of rubs me a little bit. I'm gonna hand this over to you guys. I've been asking for a traditional tight end for quite some time now, right? I think Spiro always says, that I love Caden Smith, right? Spiro, you're always like, you love the Caden
Big
Smith.
Caden Smith guy.
Yeah, well, listen, they've got a Caden Smith, and his name is Mark Andrews.
Well, slightly better than Caden Smith.
I agree, but here's the thing, Spiro.
A lot better,
honestly,
yeah.
But here's the thing, guys. No, we're assuming he's not. Let's just be honest. All right. Look, I want to give you this stat. Then you tell what they just said, because I'm still talking. What they said is, Andrews is better than Caden Smith. This is what I'm going to tell you. Ready? So, Mark Andrews over 2 years has over 1,500 yards and 17 touchdowns. He went to Oklahoma, okay, where he had 1,700 plus yards and 22 touchdowns. They throw him the ball. So we, as much as we love to say he's better, we don't know if he's better. You can't tell me he's better. He almost won the Mackey Award for tight ends out of college, guys. You can't tell me we know what he can do unless you throw him the ball. Mark Andrews is getting thrown the ball 7 to 10 times a game. He's proving that he can catch the ball. How about first downs? Giants have 24 first downs equals 13 points. Ravens have 25 first downs equals 27 points. The Giants can't score. What's the problem? Is this Garrett, or are we making excuses for the players? I'm starting off with you, Michael Stewart. Is this a player thing? Is this a coach thing? Why do we have almost the identical amount of first downs, but we can't score? Why does our tight end suck?
Well,
Giants guys.
look, they can't get the ball down the field with any considerable yardage. When they pass the ball, it's short yardage. They run the ball, it's no yardage. I gotta tell you, I put the blame on everybody. That game, I watched that game. I saw no urgency, and that football team, trailing 14-0 in the first quarter, never could recover. It was not inspiring, that game at all.
No, inspiring it was not. And you're putting it on everybody. All right, so Fresh, give me a little bit, give me something else to hold on to here. Like, I don't want to make excuses anymore. A tight end can't catch. We have a crappy offensive scheme. Tate's got another injury. Like, give me a break.
I think there's excuses and then there's reasons, right? Like, I don't know that they're excuses. They're just reasons that we have bad players on the offensive side of the ball, or like inferior talent than other teams do. And the coaching hasn't really helped it out, right? So it's really hard to blame just one thing when the offense as a unit is ranked at the end of the league.
Yeah.
And then, near the bottom. Yeah. And then on top of that, like, situationally, their red zone numbers aren't good. Their third down percentages is like bottom 5 in the league. So when you combine that, it's just, you don't have many opportunities to score, because when you are getting in those scoring situations, you're not converting the third downs. You're not converting in red zone. They don't have anybody really that really strikes fear in a defense. They just don't. And that really limits what Garrett can do. But granted, again, and I've been really, really hard and really critical of the weapons and of the receivers, and say, let's draft somebody in the first round. Let's throw big free agent money at a receiver. We need to, which we do. But Garrett hasn't really helped himself, because there are those momentum moments in a game where we can capture some of it. And the only thing we can't afford to do is go 3 and out. And that's, I feel like, when we see the Engram reverse or something like that. So, like, he's not really helping himself, but at the same time, I've been steadfast at my approach of, like, get us better players.
So Fresh, hang on to that for 1 sec, all right? I want to have this conversation with you next step. Ready? Do you remember? You brought it right up. Do you remember the Engram reverse during the game? Yeah, you remember? Okay. Do you remember what the end result of that play was? Fresh, I'm talking to you specifically.
2-yard gain.
Yes. If you remember the play, okay, and I'm bringing this up because you just said about, the reverse isn't helping him. We needed a first down, right?
Sure.
And I think it was like 4 yards maybe, right? I think it was like 3rd and 4, something like that. The reverse comes. He runs out of bounds. Any guy with balls drops his shoulder and goes forward to try to get forward progress. He runs out of bounds to take a 2-yard gain. Like at that point, drop your shoulder, cut up field, and try to run for a first down. When are we going to stop making excuses for this guy? Okay, he's a weapon when no one touches him. He's a weapon when he has no one around him to knock the ball away. He's a weapon when what? He's not a weapon. He's
not.
fast.
Yeah, he's not.
He's fast. Guys, he's fast. Stop telling me he's a weapon. We gave him a reverse. We needed 4 yards. He literally saw a linebacker and said, I'm running out of bounds. He literally took the time to run out of bounds. He didn't try to cut it up. He didn't use a stiff. If that's Derrick Henry, which Derrick Henry's a cute. What's that?
Derrick Henry's huge.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
and that kind of goes
Are
back to
you
my.
saying Derrick Henry's bigger than Evan Ingram?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
By how much?
He's
A
like
lot.
260, isn't he?
Okay, so
Yeah.
then
Derrick
if
Henry's a
you're
freaking
Derrick
linebacker.
Henry's what, 270?
260, about 6'3", 260.
Ingram's 245 pounds. I mean, you're not.
Derrick Henry
talking
is a
about lot.
bowling ball, though.
I don't
Yeah.
think- I
My
don't think
point-
that
My
much.
point. Okay, you don't want to say Derrick Henry.
Ingram-
I'm just saying he
Ingram,
runs.
you're right.
He runs angry. He runs. Pick another back if you want. Pick another tight end if you want.
Something
Kelsey,
here.
Ertz, yes. Guys, like we still won't call a spade a spade.
I think the most fair comparison, I mean, Waller is really athletic and he's actually like 3 inches taller too, but
Mhm.
Waller as a tight end is almost
he's
the
good.
he's very good. He's really good. He's the kind of the closest thing of what Ingram you want him to be, but he's not at all.
A
Waller
little more physical. A little more
And that goes back to the point too of like you need a first down in the game. Like, why are you even calling that play,
Bad
right?
call.
Like,
Bad
you know what
call.
I'm saying? Like, so like that's when Garrett could really help himself
right.
out.
Let's have that conversation, Spiro. Why are we calling that play? Because his tight end should be able to be a tight end.
I
But
feel
we
like
know he's not
no,
though.
that's a bad call though. Like we know he's not that kind of tight end. He's never going to run over people. When have you seen him run over anybody?
Well,
Evan
you're
Ingram.
trying to use his speed, but I think actually,
not-
Jeff, to your point, Jeff, I would say that that Kittle taking the blocking out of it. Kittle has a lot, and Ingram have a lot of flair. You know what I mean? Straight line speed. Can be a weapon straight down the field. I mean, Kittle does a lot of really good things, but I'm saying, but he's not as big as, let's say, Kelsey is, right? But I mean, Ingram should be able to drop a shoulder. And if you want to say it's a bad call, it's a
Guy.
bad call. But my question is this: when is he going to at least try?
But he's never going to be that guy. So I don't know what we're never going to. We're trying to make him into something that he's not.
What do you
He's
mean
not
that guy? What do you mean?
He's not going to run over people. He's not going to.
It's a shame that he's going to be on the team next year. They like him for some reason.
I'm
Like,
just-
I mean, guys, we're trashing Evan Ingram here, and he had 7 catches for 65 yards, which is a pretty good game for a tight end.
Again,
Like-
it's not, but it's excuses because all you're doing. You know what? You know
But
what you're
there's
talking
so much
about,
more
Spiro?
wrong to the offense than Evan Ingram. That's
You-
this is my point.
But,
Yeah,
but if
agreed.
if he's the weapon, no one says
He shouldn't
Tate's-
be. He shouldn't be the only weapon. That's the problem.
Okay,
We're force feeding him into being the guy when he should be like the third guy. You know?
okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
like
Then let's
the
then
Chiefs
let's just
offense
stop
works
calling him a
because
guy.
of
Oh, he's an all pro.
no, he's a Pro Bowler. Let's
Right, a Pro Bowler.
but listen, the Chiefs offense works because, I mean, listen, these guys like Kelsey, they have the middle of the field to run with, and you know Tyreek Hill opening up everything over there. Who's opened up the field for us?
But Spiro,
Slayton.
when you throw him the ball right in his hands,
He had
either drops
seven
it-
catches. 7 catches for 10 out of 10 targets.
and Olivier Vernon had 8 sacks. They're like coverage sacks, dude. Like his play. Listen, if you take his plays out of the game, does it make a difference? No.
if
Evan
you have
Ingram's
a
sack-
better tight end, do you think that fixes everything? It doesn't. This offense is broken.
It's not about the offense. It's about the players. We're making excuses for players.
The players
That
are not
need
good
to
though.
But
What's
that,
that?
They're not stars. They're not. We don't have star players. Our only star player is sitting on the IR right now with a torn ACL.
Agreed.
That's just facts.
We want to just make sure that we stop making excuses for guys.
But did we think that before the season started? What were our expectations of the offense? Middle of the road,
I don't know, because we were all saying that Ingram was going to be the guy because Garrett was going to use him like he does.
Yeah,
he
but you
did-
keep going back to Ingram. Like, no, we don't got the horses, man. We
Wait,
don't got the horses.
You
Without
just said,
Saquon,
but
we have
your
no
question,
horses.
Your question was,
Yeah.
what did we think before the season? And we
So
said,
you thought Evan Engram was going to lead this offense to being good?
no.
You thought he'd be better than he was. and he isn't.
Correct. We thought he would be better because Jason Garrett knows how to use a tight end. We thought Barkley would be running all over the map with Thomas and Pert being drafted. We thought, and like Jeff Pilgrim will tell you, that in the beginning of the year, he put this great tweet out about how Slayton was going to be a savage. 8 touchdowns last year, underdeveloped guy.
Slayton's disappeared this year. That's the
Everybody's
one of the biggest
underwhelmed.
issues.
Everybody
Yeah.
across the board. Garrett was worse than we thought he would be. Jones had a regression. Slayton's been horrible. Barkley's not there. You know,
All I
like
want-
I think Slayton's been banged up, and I don't think he's ever been the same since the beginning of the season when he got banged up.
and
I
fine,
think
sit down.
that's-
He can't be on the field anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
but
with
who are we going to
Fresh.
throw out there?
And
Now,
yes,
Austin
that-
Dude,
Mack,
it doesn't matter, bro. Like he's
That's
Austin
bad.
it.
Like
Mack,
get
That's
him
it.
out.
you
See,
threw
they're
Austin
playing
Mack
for
out there,
the
and he
division
dropped the ball.
title. You can't put
Mhm.
anybody there. They're
What's
playing
that,
for-
Michael?
They're playing for the division title, so
You can't sit him now.
Even if Slayton's a little bit banged up, you can't put
Yeah.
a guy from the practice squad on the team.
Why not? They can do
It doesn't
this.
make sense. It
You know what?
doesn't
Well,
make sense.
All right. Let's not talk over each other. But
Oh.
I think what Fresh is saying, and Jeff, I want you to jump in here. I think what Fresh is saying is spot on. We have 5 wins because the guys we have on the field, we go like this. Oh, he's banged up. He doesn't know the offense. Like, again, it's called no more excuses because everyone makes an excuse for the guys that are on the field. Like, they don't do their jobs. They're getting paid and they don't do their jobs. And we go like this. He's tired. He was out late.
Everyone's
he's-
tired
he's-
this time of year. Everybody's banged up.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to play your best players, and I don't
But-
see a guy in a practice
sure.
squad being a better player than Slayton right now.
Right.
I hate to say it. Jeff, run with this. Jeff, in theory, your starters are better than your practice squad guys, right?
I'd hope so. Yeah.
That's why they're.
If your starters continue, like, again, we did nothing in these last 3 games in a row with Ingram and Slayton and Board, okay, and Tate. They've done nothing, right? Would you not agree at any level that guys like Mack and Victor should get, and Bachman should get an opportunity because those other guys can't do the job? You have 5 wins for a reason.
Not in the final game when you're playing for a title.
You can't do that, man.
You can't do that. I could see if this was like
You-
the 10th game of the year. Yeah.
Well, they should have done it a few months ago.
Can you
You
imagine?
do
if they
realize
do that?
they've scored 2 touchdowns in the last 5 games,
I
right?
do realize that.
I
but-
mean, come on. Cole McCoy's been in for 2 of them, and Daniel Jones shouldn't have been on the field for one of them.
That's right.
So I mean, 3 of those games, I can't even really put stock into it.
Jeff, talk to me.
I'm not willing to die on a hill for Evan Ingram. I'm not defending him, but he's not the problem. This offense is so broken, and I keep going back to scheme because, at least from Daniel Jones' point of view, he threw 24 touchdowns last year in 13 games. He's got 9 touchdown passes this year.
How
Some
many of
of
those
that-
touchdowns were to Ingram?
Some of that were you got to stop with Ingram. Dude. It's
You
not
have
Ingram.
such vendetta.
Like
can't
you could
play.
get rid of Ingram, you could upgrade the tight end position. This offense is not going to be fixed overnight. There are real
It'll be
problems.
a little better though. It will be.
Well, yeah, but you could say that about every single position.
Ingram's going to
We'd
set
be
career
better if we
highs,
had-
by the way, in almost every category. So just throwing that out there.
What was that?
Ingram's going to set career highs in catches and yards.
Spiro.
Yeah, but that's something.
Sorry,
Spiro,
Jeff.
you-
Sorry, Jeff. I just
Spiro,
wanted to drop that
Spiro,
line.
you know I love you to death. But dude, he's been on injured reserve every year he's played, so his career highs are not much to brag about. Go ahead, Jeff, finish.
All right, so you could put Travis Kelce on this offense. I still don't trust that Jason Garrett is going to know how to use him to the most of his ability, like Andy Reid has. Travis Kelce does whatever he wants. Like the scouting reports and he still goes for 100 yards and a touchdown every game. You can't stop that guy. So he's a freak. But I don't trust this system, and I keep going back to that because it was the same weapons, same wide receivers rather last year. I know Barkley's not there, but he didn't have a great year last year and he was banged up. The offense is just beyond one player hurting everything. Obviously, we have a young O-line, but when you look at some of the stats from the last game, they're horrifying. And we got off to a really slow start. The defense, usually you can count on, they got run over. I've never seen them get run over like this.
Yeah.
Ravens
Well-
converted 6 of 7 third downs in the first quarter. We couldn't stop anything. There's
Yeah, well,
junk yards.
We'll get to the
For a
defense.
long time.
Jeff, hold on, guys. If Jeff, we'll get to the defense in a minute. So we had 24 first downs, Jeff, that only produced 13 points.
Red zone.
Yeah. So is that purely just not having the talent in the red zone? Or to you, or what you're alluding to, is it scheme or is it both? Because I mean, 24 first downs and you're losing by 14 points. They only had 25 first downs and they scored 27 points. Like, how do you have neck and neck first downs, but we can't score? Scheme?
Whenever there's a heated debate about something and passionate people coming from different sides, the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. And that's what's happening here. It's talent and it's scheme. They're not using the players they have the best way. And we don't have the best talent. When you watch other games, like I'm sure you guys do on Sundays, you see these guys flying around. Like, we don't have those guys. Like, we don't have those kind of wide receivers running around. You see the Devontae Adams of the world, what he can do. Like, we are so far from that level of talent. So that's a factor. And also Jason Garrett has clearly been a massive disappointment from pretty much every angle. We hoped for a lot more from him. So it's, in fact, both of those things.
All right. I like that. Michael Stewart, did you have something you wanted to jump in there with?
No, just quickly, on Sunday, the Giants, I mean, their third down converged, they were 1 for 10. And that's
Yeah.
just cut it. That's
What was it? 1?
1 for 10.
1 for 10.
The
That's-
offense ran
yeah.
3 plays in the first quarter.
It's just bad.
That's how
Yeah.
bad the defense and offense was.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
we couldn't get on the field for the first 10
Yep,
minutes. I don't know why
exactly.
we deferred right off the bat. That was just a bad call by Judge. But
For
anyways,
real.
move on.
And if I'm not mistaken, the Mac drop and the Slayton drop,
Ugh.
there's 2 first downs that,
Bad.
like,
Yeah.
right?
Anything can happen if you catch the ball. Anything can happen.
Here's
Well,
the
yeah.
worst. Here's the worst stat over the last 4 games. The Giants have scored 3 or fewer points in the first half over the last 4 games.
Brutal.
You can't win anything. And now I know we're going to get to Dallas, so I'll save it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is very hard for me just to, like, here's the thing. The talent is not great, as we know. I almost feel like they're not trying to use the talent. Like, Jason Garrett ran the worst screenplay I'd ever seen run in the
That was
history.
bad.
Man, honestly, I've seen some bad screens in my day, but to roll the other side and then throw the ball completely to the other side, like,
In the red zone.
yeah,
He tries to get creative, but then it just always backfires.
Like-
Just-
like Spiro, you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see like 2 things I'd love to see. I'd love to see Slayton do the OBJ one-step slant. Can he handle it? And then I'd love to see Tate do the old Amani Toomer or Plexico Barris down the line screen pass, but not roll to the right. It would just a one-step slant, one-step screen. Remember, he'd take 1 step back off the line, and Eli would hit him right on the line and let him go. Toomer used to do it, and then Plaxico did it. You know,
They did with Shockey too. With the
Shockey,
tight end.
like there is some, like, and again, as I started the segment off, we can't shoot it out with an elite offensive team, but they don't use the talent, as Jeff alluded to a minute ago. They don't really use it very wisely, because Slayton and Tate, who are both pretty fast receivers, could definitely be used better. And for all the hate that Shepard gets, it's amazing because he still continues to run the best routes. He's still the safety blanket, and he still does what he does every week. And, there's no reason why that kid can't have a touchdown every week. If you saw that touchdown, he fought through that guy hands all the way. I don't know if that was the route or if he broke it off, but that's working for your money.
Also, Jones didn't look at any other receiver. He completely trusted Shep to win that. He
Yeah,
was just
right.
waiting. I'm
Yeah.
glad he got the protection because Jones didn't look anywhere else on that.
Yeah, it was a
touchdown.
one-on-one.
And I think
go win.
Shepard deserved it because each week I don't know why people get on him that he's no good. He's another guy that as a 2 or a 3, He moves the chains. He runs the best routes. He doesn't drop. I mean, honestly, have you ever seen Shepard like just drop a ball like
Not
we do
many.
with some of our other guys? No.
No, I said it after the game. That dude worked his ass off. It looked like he was just trying so hard for every single yard. And you need that Beckham on the outside to open up that middle of the field because so many guys are in. They know we can't run the ball and we're not passing it well. It's like we're too easy to defend right now, and everyone's feeling it.
They're,
Without a doubt.
yeah, they're relying on him to be more than what he's capable of is why I've been critical of him too. Like I think Jeff said one week he's miscast in the wrong.
Yeah, through no fault of his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, and you're both dead on because they threw him on a 9 route, a go route down the sideline that kind of sailed a little bit high for Jones. And the first thing I thought of was, that's not Shepard's game. He's not a straight line guy.
That's
Like,
none of
why
our
would-
wide receivers games. That's the problem. We have nobody that can go up and
But-
get a ball.
But at
Like
least
not
if
one
they,
person.
no, you're right, Spear. You're right. I just wish that
Frustrating.
it would, and I just wish like in that situation that you ran it with Slayton and not Shepard because that's just not. Ooh,
I knew.
I knew.
Don't be
All
afraid
right.
to get a promo out there.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we know another individual that
accept
does that
all.
on a regular basis. All right, let's roll on something new. We're crushing the hell out of this offense, which they do deserve it, by the way. Let's talk about what I like to call the next segment is what's that? Oh yeah, the Giants guys. You're listening to us here. So have some fun, sit back. We got some more for you. How the mighty have fallen. I'm starting off again with you, Fresh. The Ravens just ran through us like we weren't even there. 249 yards on the ground. Before the game, the Giants were the 6th ranked rushing deep against the run, is what I'm trying to babble about here. And that's with great D line. You've got Martinez. Everything has been great against the run, and they didn't show up. So I'm kind of curious. The first 2 things that stuck out at me, Fresh, was Yadam and McKinney looked terrible. And McKinney got credited with 7 tackles. 3 of them were the worst 3 tackles I've seen in a long time. He threw 3 shoulders into guys and got bounced like a rubber ball on the playground. And I chalked it up to him being rusty and being a rookie. But if he's going to get snaps, that kid's got to learn to tackle. And Yadam, he got burnt for that touchdown. You can clearly see him frozen, looking at the quarterback's eyes while the receiver ran right across his face for a touchdown. Both of those guys struggled. What are you thinking, Fresh, here? Why did we get run over? Why did they look so out of sync? Is it because McKinney's getting more snaps? Give me something.
Listen, a couple things. When that drive was unfolding, I just was like, they knew they were going to do this. Like, this is the Ravens game. Like, get Lamar with a couple of easy passes in the middle, right? Off play action, nothing complicated, nothing down the field, and run the ball. They didn't come out and surprise us. So I was definitely disappointed in the coaching and in the players. Like, we all knew, everybody in the world knew exactly what the Ravens were going to do. And they methodically marched down the field and did it with zero resistance. So that was extremely disappointing. I would say a couple things. All year, the offense has been so dreadful and we've relied on the defense. So at some point you're looking at our defense just getting beaten series after series. You're hoping the offense could return the favor once and stop the bleeding. But of course, that's too much to ask for. So if this defense doesn't play top notch, they don't have a prayer. And I think you've seen that. So taking the season's body of work into account, I'm not going to sit here and slaughter the defense, but in the last couple of weeks, they haven't been the same. Is it McKinney? Is it Yadam? I don't know. I just think these guys are getting beat now, and they know that the offense isn't going to do shit to help them out. So it's just wears on them.
Spiro, you know what? I see a little bit, Spiro. Tell me if you agree with a little bit of this. So defense was playing really good, right? The young guys earned more snaps. And all of a sudden, we seem to be getting a little beat. And I only say that, and I'm not putting the blame on anyone. I'm just saying what I notice is I notice now McKinney's getting snaps, Carter Coughlin's getting snaps, Sherrod is getting snaps. A lot of these guys are getting snaps now that didn't get snaps earlier in the year, and I feel like it's not working. Like Sherrard didn't set the edge at least 8 times he got beat.
He's a veteran though,
Yeah,
too.
well, yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's a veteran. He's been on a couple teams. But I saw him lose containment at least 8 times. Carter Coughlin getting ragdolled,
Yeah.
by tackles and McKinney and Yadam. So does it have to do with maybe Graham just graduated a couple guys too soon?
He had no choice. We lost 4 of our top 4 edge rushers. We had David Mayo playing edge, who's a backup middle linebacker, because we were so decimated. And Carter Coughlin should not be a full-time edge guy right now. He should be a pass rush specialist.
Yeah,
In the best case scenario. I mean, and actually in the worst case scenario, he should not be getting this many snaps. Cam Brown's we're throwing 6th and 7th round guys out there right now. And of course they're getting overexposed. The rookies, they're hitting the wall, they're getting overexposed. I'm praying to God Fackrell comes back for this Cowboys game, because at least he could set the edge. He could be a pass rusher. We have nobody on the edge right now that's rushing the passer. Lamar Jackson had all day back there. I don't care if you had all pro safeties and cornerbacks out there. They can't cover for 6 seconds. You can't cover, and Yadam, like you said, he's getting overexposed too. Graham can only do so much to cover up for these guys. They played zone for so long. Teams are starting to figure out how the zone works. And when you sit in zone and your guy had 6 seconds to pick apart the defense, someone's going to find an open spot in the zone. So
especially with Williams is going to all the offensive line's attention is going to go to Williams without a serious edge threat.
It is what it is. And I'm really hoping we get one last bounce back game with Fackrell in there. And Graham, puts all the cards on the table. I think also Baltimore was a horrible matchup for this defense. We ran into a buzzsaw, and that's really what happened. I'm expecting a bounce back this weekend, by the way.
Yeah, I'm on that take 100%. Graham's just really, really thin without Zimenez and Fackrell and Carter. Yeah. I'm in agreement. And Golden. I'm in agreement with that wholeheartedly. The only thing that I would say that which when you're getting beat, sometimes you throw things at the wall. The only thing I notice, and Jeff, I'm going to go to you, is I don't see Leonard Williams moving inside and outside like he used to get about 6-7 snaps outside, and that was like a nightmare. I only see him getting double teamed in the middle. He's still an amazing player, but when you're down by a lot, sometimes you got to throw things at the wall. And Cam Brown and Coughlin Carter, I don't think are the right things to throw if that's all you have. But I don't quite think it's all they have. Jeff, is there anything that maybe Graham's kind of maybe fallen in love with something, or is he making the adjustments he used to make? What's the saying? We used to wait till halftime to make adjustments, but when we're down this many players, we need to make on the fly adjustments now. We can't wait till halftime.
I don't know if we got sometimes it seemed like we got stuck in the zone for too long, or he didn't mix it up too much, because this bend but don't break, you're going to break eventually if that's all you do, and people can figure that out. In the Ravens were in the red zone at one point, and you saw a weird, horrible mistake by, I think, Bradbury, where he thought they were in zone and Logan thought they were in man, and that's how Des Bryant was wide open for a touchdown. You don't see that too often, but this was also a historically good rushing offense. They not only are they number 1 in the NFL, they're historically good. They have the second longest streak of all time, 38 consecutive games with 100 yards rushing. So Fresh said, really hit home. We knew what they were going to do. They did everything that they put on tape. We just couldn't stop them. So kind of disappointing, because we thought the strength of our defense, those defensive tackles, stopping the run, and they couldn't even resist the run.
Michael Stewart, I will say this: if you watched the game, which I'm sure you did, they might be the best play action team I have seen in a long time. You had no idea if Lamar had the ball or he handed that thing off. How many times did I see Martinez or Mayo or Crowder going the wrong way? So I'm sure they practiced it, but evidently not enough.
3 different guys rushed for over 77 yards. That's not normal.
Yeah, and who could set the edge? They were running around the edge at will every time. You knew they were going to get there. Just oh, come on, man.
Yeah, Michael Stewart, what's your thoughts?
Well, these three guys hit it on the head. I mean, this defense has been asked to do a lot this whole season, and you just got to chalk this game up there. They were just beaten. It's plain and simple. It's a man's game, and Baltimore put it to them. That was plain and simple. It really isn't nothing, no science to it.
Let's not forget, is a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah.
They came into this season with Super Bowl expectations. Like we were playing against one of the better teams in the league,
Didn't they win
and
13 games
it
last?
showed. Yeah, it showed, and they're hot right now.
Well-
Just bad matchup. Bad
Well-
matchup.
Well coached, a lot of talent. Let me ask this quick question, not on the show notes, just jump out there. Browns, Cardinals, Ravens, 3-game losing streak, right? Which one of those games should they have won?
Browns. I think if
I
they had
mean-
Daniel Jones there, and they it's a different ball game.
So
Well,
you
looking
think
at
going into the season,
no.
you thought they should have beat the Browns?
Oh, going into the season,
Like
I had
Out of
those as
those
3
three-
losses.
Did you? I think I had them beating the Browns actually.
Yeah, I mean Browns would be the most likely of.
But the Browns
Oh,
are much
three.
better than we expected to.
Why?
Fresh.
Where you getting at here?
Did you mean like before the year, or did you mean
yeah,
like
like when we
looking back?
started off this season, we were like, the Cardinals beat us last year at home. I was kind of leaning on the fact that they would figure Kyle Murray out by now, and
They got a stud team.
I didn't really put a lot of stock into the Cardinals. I thought the Browns, had Beckham and Jarvis and and Baker can turn it on when he gets going. And
Yeah, I mean, I guess coming into the year, those games are so late in the season. I guess you look at the Browns and just look at the dysfunction they've been, and hopefully that they would crash and burn. But I don't know.
in the season, I still thought the Cardinals was the most winnable game overall. And that's exactly as we got closer, to these
Yeah,
games. I
we
was still
didn't-
thinking the Cardinals was the game.
We didn't come correct in any of these games. It did leading up to this when we were beating Seattle at their house. We were like, wow, we're a well-coached team that can, we can run the ball and we can stop the run and we have a good defense. And I don't know what happened the last 3
It's been a
games.
disaster
I
since
don't
then.
feel any of those things anymore.
Silver lining: Patrick Graham ain't going anywhere this year.
You never know. I mean, who knows?
I don't know. He got a little. He's come back down to earth.
Who knows?
Well, yeah,
Through no fault of his own. No
I
fault of
guess.
his own, but it takes the luster off of his.
Michael
ahead.
Stewart. So sorry, Spiro. Sorry, my bad.
No. All good.
Michael Stewart. Why did we stop running the ball?
Why did we stop running the ball?
Yeah, I mean we're not. I mean we're just not getting.
They're
Nobody's
not
getting
doing
any
anything
carries.
on. And that, when you're not moving the ball and you fall behind so quickly, teams start to panic and they start to try to do things that's out of their element. And Giants try to get into the passing game. And we all know how their receivers are. They're not as talented as many other teams have. So it's hard to play catch up in the NFL. It really is.
Even when we were down 2 touchdowns, I would have preferred that they go on a long scoring drive and
Right.
run the ball and eat up clock and be down
Your game
14-7,
plan.
be your strength and hope that your defense can get some stops for you. Don't panic.
Yeah.
I think running
They
the
don't.
ball with
Yeah,
Gallman
they don't
was
have
the
enough
one thing
plays
where-
ever though. They don't have enough plays ever. Like they're at in the bottom 3 or 4 in the league in total plays ran because they're not
They can't
having enough
score
plays to
them
even.
down.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The reason why I asked was because my theory is along what Jeff just said was you needed to give the defense a blow. We know that we're a better run blocking team. Gallman had a nice spurt there. He's probably chomping at the bit to get going because he had 2 soft games. Why not try to run the ball and let Gallman do his thing, let the line do their thing, give the defense a break. I'm kind of with Jeff that I was hoping that they would, go on maybe an 8-9 play series, and basically say, hey, look, we can run the ball on you. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You got to let your defense rest too. It's not fair what
Yeah.
they're asking of them.
I wanted these guys, like Gates and these guys to just start mauling, you know what I mean? And say, look, maybe we can't can't out gunsling you, but we're gonna pound this. Even down 14, Michael Stewart's right. When you're behind, you start pressing a little bit. I wish that everybody would have kept a cool head and they just kept feeding the ball to Gallman and and sooner or later you wear those guys down.
Yep.
All right, so back to like, you know, our you know, our notes, because there's something here, guys, that we kind of alluded to. We've talked about it. I really need you guys to help me out with something here, because I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page, and it's cool if you don't agree. But we have no pass rush. I mean, there isn't any. Spiro alluded to the fact how thin Graham is. When you don't have the bodies, like it seems to me, Spiro, and I'm gonna start with you, that like he realized he doesn't have the bodies, right? But he's not stunting anymore. He's not being creative anymore. Maybe he's afraid to get burned or get caught in a certain package. And as you alluded to before, too, a very nice take you took a minute ago that the announcer said that Lamar Jackson had anywhere between 5 and 6 seconds to hold the ball. So I don't care if you got Ronnie Lott, Charles Woodson, and Deion Sanders back there. Like, you know, you need a pass rush.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I can't see us drafting an edge in first round, but I really think that's what they have to do.
Yeah.
Because you just need a guy that says, I'm going to go get this.
Well, yeah. I mean, Carter and Zimenez will be back, so I would put them in a battle for one of the sides. You know, let them get one of the sides.
They both should get time.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully they both come back healthy. But right now, you know, you're throwing out Nick Lalos, Carter Coughlin, and Cam Brown. Again, 6th to 7th rounders and all rookies. They've all hit the rookie wall. And Sheard, who's an old veteran, who's just not going to be a big pass rusher at this point. So, you know, it is what it is. Graham's, and then you're throwing Mayo out there because you want to stop the run against the Baltimore Ravens. He's the only guy that could set the edge at this point, and that takes. You're not going to get any pass rush from a middle linebacker playing an edge spot. So every time they want to throw the ball on play action, of course he's got all day. You know,
the only guy that could do that was Chase Blackburn.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, I'm praying to God, Fackrell. They activated him last week. I'm guessing he's now a month to this calf injury. He should be ready to go. He could be our only threat at the end spot, the edge spot, and pray for the best for the one game, maybe 2 games if we could win this game. They're just gonna have to piece it together right now, and then you go back to the drawing board. Either sign a big guy, draft him in the first 2 rounds. They got to get talent there.
Fresh pass rush. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's the answer. I mean, you got to remember too, this defense coming into the year was the major concern about, like, they were going to be either god awful. We felt good about the offense. I know you asked that earlier coming into the year, and like the defense played way above expectations for the majority of the year. So like the last couple of weeks, again, I think Graham did a great job with some of the injuries that they've had. Again, you mentioned Carter, you mentioned the X-Man. So them coming back is going to be huge, especially because they're second and third, or not now going to be 3rd and 4th year guys that you can count on to develop some type of production. And then I think that you're looking at the possibility of bringing somebody in or drafting somebody, right? Just depending on what they do with the receiver position.
So, Michael Stewart, help me out here. I'm going to give you 2 things. One is I'm a fan of anybody that wears Giants blue, right? Of course, right? We root for guys that wear the uniform, right? But I got to be Scrooge here, I guess would be the good word. Carter and Zimenez have showed me very, very, very little.
Carter had a nice start.
Carter was good till he got hurt.
Again, let's
not edge rushers though. They're not edge rushers.
Yeah, exactly. Like they are B+ outside linebackers. They're Carter and Zimenez are not good in pass situations. They're good against the run and setting the edge. They're pretty sure tacklers. Carter definitely can get a little bit more. He's got a little bit more, yup in his step, and he can have. Maybe he probably doesn't have as many. He doesn't have a lot of moves, but he's fast. Whereas Zimenez has a lot more power. Neither one of them show me enough to say, yeah, I can't wait to get those guys back. Michael, tell me, putting aside this Dallas week, like, is there a future for these guys? or do they definitely need to get a pass rusher in next year? Is that a priority?
Yes, it's a priority.
Draft?
Oh yeah.
Well, look, the weakest point of the Giants defense is an edge rusher. Weakest on offense is a wide receiver. We all know that. It's not too hard to figure out. The Giants should address both those positions either in free agency or early in the draft. That's a no-brainer. I like Carter. I like him as a stout defender against the run, and he does have the ability to, I'm not saying he's as good as, he's nowhere near as good, but he reminds me a little bit of Carl Banks, how he would clog things up and other guys make plays. He does that. He's a pretty good player. Jimenez, I'm still on the fence with him, but I think the Giants really have to address the edge. It's a question what they look at, free agent or the draft. I don't see them doing both. If they do an edge in free agency, they're not going to draft an edge early, and vice versa with the wide receiver. I don't see it. That's just my opinion.
So Jeff, here's what I can tell you. Cap money goes down. Giants don't have a lot of cap money. Wide receivers are going to command a big dollar. Giants might not be able to afford that big wide receiver in free agency. And we need pass rush like today, right? We need pass rush now, as Spiro alluded to. We're hoping on Fackrell. I mean, like, that's how bad it is. And don't get me wrong, I like Fackrell. He's a nice player.
But you don't want to be like, once we get Fackrell back, we'll be.
I know, it's tough.
Yeah.
That's never a good sign.
Yeah, no one's like this. Woo! Fackrell's back, everybody.
Yeah.
Fackrell.
Gotta watch out for Fackrell.
Yeah, that's not happening. So here's my question. Man, I'm gonna laugh. That is so funny. So here's the thing. If I can't afford Galladay, or if I can't afford Robinson, or I can't afford these receivers, so I'm going to go out and get a pass rush, right? Are there any pass rushers out there? And
I don't know. Who's a free agent?
Well, here's where I was going.
That's going to be big money again.
They just signed Logan Ryan, which we all love, but that also changes what they're going to do.
They need to re-sign Williams too.
Every move is going to affect the next one. And I think, after thinking about it more, I desperately want a wide receiver stud in here, but that's deeper in the draft. And I think there's a bigger drop off of talent from the top 10 to the second round in terms of edge rushers. So it would make sense for them to actually use that first pick on an edge rusher. If Chase Young was available, I think that's where the Giants were going. I think that's who they had their eyes on and probably wanted, but then they went to the next need, which was offensive line, and had their choice of offensive linemen. So they're going to address it. I don't think we have the money to pay an edge rusher with, every move we make, like signing Logan Ryan, then changes everything, like you said. So we don't have the money to go get a big pass rusher, a big wide receiver, and retain the guys that we want to. There's just not enough dollars.
I'm going to give you guys something to chew on. You ready for this? And then we'll get into Gettleman. 19 of the 77 wide receivers taken in the first round this century have had fewer than 100 career receptions. No receiver taken in the first round since 2015, Amari Cooper, has made the Pro Bowl. Okay, I'm not counting 2020. 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. Amari Cooper was the only one to make the Pro Bowl. As far as the size of these gentlemen, okay, 2020 might be one of the best draft classes for wide receivers in 10 years, okay? Judy, 193 pounds. Ruggs, 188 pounds. Lamb, 200. Cooper Kupp, which is not 2020, 208. Jefferson, 202. Higgins, 216. Mims, 207. Adams, 215. Pittman, 223. Claypool, 238. Rieger, 206. They want to draft, and I'm just planting this for future. You're talking about Devontae Smith from Alabama, who's 170 pounds. Okay? The only two receivers that you could say that are small and have had success in the NFL are Deshaun Jackson and Cole Beasley, playing at 175 to 180.
Tyreek Hill.
I'm sorry?
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill still 182 pounds, right? So
this is a big wide receiver class, though. Big wide receiver, and they don't. These wide receivers are coming into the NFL more ready than they used to be
Yep.
prior to the past 5 years.
Yep.
Impact
So
players.
my point is that drafting a receiver in the first round turns to be statistically a bust. These guys do not pan out. Okay. I mean, it took Devontae Parker 4 years to burst on the scene. These guys aren't making it. Now, 2020 is going to be an anomaly because these guys are all really good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Beckham's class too was really,
Well,
really good.
So he's before, I'm only saying the last 5 years. So 15,
Oh.
16, 17, 18, 19. Like, those guys are really weighing down that these first round draft picks aren't making it. I told you, out of the last century, Spiro, 19 of 77 first round draft picks, okay, have 100 career receptions.
Yeah.
So they don't always work out. All these other guys like Juju, Judy, these guys are second round picks. What do you call it from the Saints?
Yep.
Michael Thomas,
DK
Shepard,
Metcalf.
they're second round picks.
Yeah, Metcalf, great point.
Yeah, great pick,
Well-
Fresh. So just planting a seed now as we move forward on what do we want to do with our first round pick, because receivers have not outside of 2020. If maybe it continues, but it doesn't always look great for receivers. Go ahead, Michael.
Can I just say something? Look, I love Ryan, Logan Ryan. I'm wondering the signing of Ryan, what that means for Peppers. Because if X-Man is for real, if he's the legit play that we all think he's going to be, what does that mean for Peppers if you give Ryan now a 3-year deal? And also, the Giants, if they could get rid of 3 big contracts, they'll have almost 40-something thousand to spend.
Million.
So,
I hope it's million.
All right. So
what did I say 1,000?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not very good.
It's a million. And we don't even know when they're going to pick yet, because whether they win or lose, it could be.
They could be picking top 3.
They could be picking top 3.
What is the range? It's like 3
They
to
could pick
14.
19 or beyond if they win a playoff game.
Right.
We don't even know yet. So
That's a crazy swing.
that is. So once Sunday's game's over, we'll know what they're going to do, and of course, free agency is a big indication of what they could do in the draft. So.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I am full of knowledge, not full of what you thought I was going to say.
That too.
Just so you guys are aware, okay, on the books right now, Jenkins is owed $3.5 million, Golden's owed $2.5, Ogletree $3 million, Fleming $2 million, Tate $7 million, Zeitler $5 million. That's all money on the books if they're cut before the active guys before June 1st, and those guys, the guys that aren't here any longer, that's dead money. There's a lot of money sitting there for guys that don't even play for this team any longer.
Happens every year.
So yeah, so the good news is that Jenkins, Golden, Ogletree will come off the books. You'll get a little bit of that back. But there's also guys like Lewis and Downs. You have to cut them before June 1st. Because they're owed. Lewis is owed $1.5 million, and Downs is owed $750,000 if you let him stay on the team after June 1st. So Abrams has got his work cut out for him, what he's going to do, which kind of just to come full circle, like where you pick, how much money they actually have. It's definitely not an easy job. It's definitely complicated on what they put together. The Logan Ryan thing throws a wrench in all of it. Guys, tell me about Gettleman. Spiro, what about Gettleman?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but his whole tenure might come down to this game. If they win and get into the playoffs, I think that buys them an extra year, because when it comes down to it, and I'm a Gettleman backer, but results do matter. And if you finish with another season with 5 wins or under 6 wins, you can only get by with so much. I think this team, this roster is building in the right direction. But again, you have to have the W's to show for it. And I think 6 wins, considering the 1-7 start, is a nice turnaround to the season. And 5 wins just doesn't look as good. It just doesn't.
All right. Jeff, let me get Jeff. Let's go fast then, because we want to talk about Dallas for a second. Jeff, Gettleman.
I think Spiro's right. As crazy it is, it might come down to this game. If you earn a playoff spot, and then you can look at, it has to be a bounce back game. Like, and honestly, I'm not sure how it happens, but it's got to be a bounce back game where you're like, this team is headed in the right direction. There are a few pieces here and there away. And if you don't feel like that and the Giants look like crap and they put up no points and get worked by Dallas in the final game and Washington loses and like we could have gone to the playoffs, the fan base is going to lose their shit. Like they're going to absolutely go nuts over this guy because it is a production business. And if he loses this, I think he'll officially be the worst GM record over the last 3 years. So
All right.
it's hard to keep selling to the fan base that it's good when it's not resulting in anything positive.
Michael Stewart, 1 minute. Gettleman, yes or no?
Well, Spiro hit on the head. If they win, yes. If they lose, no. So it's 10
Crazy,
seconds.
crazy, but it's true. Seems
Yeah.
like
All
Those
right. Fresh.
I'm okay. I'm okay either way, despite what happens this weekend. The more time that goes by and the more I really evaluate what the situation is of the team, the more I'm thinking they should move on. But again, I would be okay with them hanging on to him.
Really? I didn't think you were going to say that.
Listen, you need to be the best team in your division, and the Giants still have a chance to be the best team in their division.
Yeah.
And in a rebuilding year, so you
Listen,
gotta just.
If someone told you in the beginning of the year Giants will win the division, are you going to ask them, well, what's their record going to be?
Right.
No, you go,
I'll take
really?
playoffs anytime, dude.
Oh yeah.
I tweeted this out today. I said, I just want to see a real pass rusher and a receiver that's fast and tall. I miss catches and sacks.
Yeah.
True that.
I don't know what
All
those are anymore.
Yeah. All right. So Dallas, I'm going to do the same thing. Fresh, how do we beat Dallas?
Well, do what we have.
I
You see,
love that, by the way.
Dallas.
So
Well,
everything they've been doing the last 3 games, do not do that.
yeah, stop doing that.
I would really think that Daniel Jones is really going to have to offensively will this team to some points and overcome poor wide receiver play to get the ball in the end zone here and there. I think that they got some weapons on offense. We got to be conscious of that. We got to make things difficult, try to confuse Dalton as much as possible. And listen, I'm not here to tell you that like this team is good, this team is bad, whatever the case is. Like the bottom line is, I just want to get this out there for those folks that want to lose for better draft pick position. You gotta play the game. You gotta play the game and root for your team to win. If there's a chance to make the playoffs, no matter what, you need to be invested in having your team try to win and get to the playoffs. So like whatever else has happened. The bottom line is in this game, they still have hope. And like, that's a positive thing. So let's enjoy it. Let's watch the game. Hopefully we can pressure and confuse Dalton and hopefully Jones can come up big for the offense. And then, hopefully we're watching the game at night with some meaning.
All right. Jeff, I'd like to see him be like, as we started the show up, I'd like to see them be a little creative and try something new. We almost won the Dallas game the first time around, right? I forget the DB with the long hair, gave up a big pass down the sideline. Lewis, yeah. So like we were in that game. I think that might have been Garrett's best game plan of the year.
Easily.
So, and I'd like I said, I'd like to see, I mean, he's not active, so it's not going to happen. But like, I don't know, Victor Mack. I like to see some of these guys maybe get a little bit more action, see if it works. Can it? What do you think?
It's all about the offensive game plan.
Yeah, on the table. Everything's on the table.
Yep, they have to get off to a good start. You cannot go 3 and out and let your defense get gassed because the defense is getting pissed at the offense. These are still men with egos, and they're like, we are exhausted.
You bet they are. Yep.
Yeah, like that's the reality
you guys
of
do
it.
your job.
Right. And if the first half tells a story of the offense is battling, the offense just scored a touchdown, then they got a field goal, and now they're in the red zone again. Then the defense is like, all right, we're in this game, and the offense has our back too. Like we have to get some of that going. So it's the offensive game plan. Daniel Jones has to be sharp. I would love for him to throw us on his back once and be like, Daniel Jones won us that game. That was 100% Daniel Jones. I don't care what the excuses or challenges were. Daniel Jones won us that game. I want to say that. Honestly, I do. I want to say that once.
Michael Stewart, are you okay with Garrett just taking all the reins off Dimes and just letting him throw the rock around the field?
Well, I want to see our game plan be a little more unpredictable, like he did the first meeting with those, fake, what was it? Fake kick,
Flea flicker.
a flea flicker. And, they really should have won that game. It wasn't for a horrible refereeing.
Was that the
Yep.
fake field goal game too, where
Yeah, that
we
was
had
the
the
fake field
touchdown
goal.
and the
They had
penalty?
it. They had it all played out.
That game plan was great.
Yep.
Yep. He
Now,
wanted to win.
the Giants in their losing streak, 26 points total. They ain't gonna cut it. They got to score at least 24 points because Dallas can score. About a month ago, I felt good about this game for the Giants. Right now, I don't. They got to score, like Jeff said. It's all about the offense, and you can't expect the defense to stop this Dallas team. They got a lot of weapons, and
They actually have.
they're averaging 30 points a game in their winning streak. So
They've got 3 stud wide receivers.
yeah, and they got a running back who's pretty darn good too, right?
Two good
Yeah.
running backs. Pollard is no joke either. He
Paul's no
looked-
joke. That's correct. I mean, it's not going to be. I mean, I had them winning 6 games this year. If they win this, they'll get it. But I don't know if they'll get it. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. Go ahead, Fresh. What do you got for me?
My turn.
started
My
us.
turn. My turn.
Oh, my bad.
All right. So listen, I think we match up better against Dallas than we did Baltimore. I think we could handle their running game, and Dalton is not going to run the ball. He's not a threat back there. So
He's a better
I,
pass.
yeah, I think if you get Fackrell back, I know it's
Fackrell!
we talked about
Oh,
that.
back row.
But
Oh, we got
that's how
Fackrell. We're
dire-
good.
He's gonna have like 4 sacks.
That's
Yeah.
how dire the situation is, guys. That's how dire it is. And listen, the key, Daniel Jones, like you guys said, we got to score points. He's getting healthier and healthier as the weeks go by. Can we see a running Daniel Jones again?
Yeah.
Can he run the ball?
Need
Can he
to.
do? Yeah. Can we
Need to.
see a couple rushes there? Because that's going to be the difference. His game is starting to turn the corner a little bit. I know. I'm totally discounting this Arizona game because he was a shell of himself. He shouldn't have been
I'm
playing.
ready.
The Bengals game and the Philadelphia game, Washington, he's starting to come around. He's not turning the ball over anymore after that Tampa game. And the one thing I took out of that Baltimore game was that Daniel Jones played well, in my opinion. I thought he played well.
I
Yeah.
do too.
So, you add a running element from Daniel Jones, everybody, they're starting to run the ball a little bit better. Dallas is a get-right game for this offense. I think we win 31-24. Write it down.
30 points.
Holy
Write it down.
Fackrell.
31-24.
That's what holy Fackrell. You just got a prediction from Spiro. I'm having the holy Fackrell t-shirts made up because that's that. Write that down, Jeff. That's my new hashtag.
We'll get mine on Thursday.
Yeah, that's my new hashtag for the rest of this I guess 1 game season.
Watch him scoop a fumble and take it to the house. I swear to God.
Game changer.
Maybe
I
that's what
really-
it is. Maybe the
I'm looking
Giants
forward-
guys got to get behind somebody.
I'm looking forward to this practice report so badly because if Fackrell's not playing, my whole game plan is just shot to shit.
Yeah. I mean, and I know you guys probably aren't going to like what I'm about to say. I'm because
Don't say it
we're
then. Don't say it.
well, I want you guys to hear this because, I don't want to be like, like just riding the bandwagon with everybody. Like if they lose, like I'm okay with it, but I want to see Dimes throw 30 passes. Like I just want like Jeff, you just said like win it, carry it on your back kind of a thing. Like I want to go out guns blazing, Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid. I just want the dude to be like this. We're throwing 30 times today. And
For
like, if
Garrett's
you-
sake.
yeah,
He
and
should.
here's the thing: if he throws 5 picks, I don't give a crap. I just want to see him wing the ball around the lot and see who's big enough to play. I want Sandlot. I just want to see the dude play.
I want game 1 Daniel Jones at Tampa Bay. I want that Daniel Jones. I want him running outside. If you remember, our winning streak started against Philly, right? And it was the RPO that opened up the offense. Daniel Jones took one to the house, like 34 yards, something like that. You have to have
80
him.
yard run, didn't he? Is that game?
That was the first game where he
That's a-
fell.
The first one.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Also
second one
Philly.
is the second one he ran whatever the 80 yards or whatever.
Right.
I don't honestly, not to be a rag on it, but I just don't think he's healthy enough to do it. That's why.
He looked
We'll
healthy.
see. He looked
But
better. He
also,
looked as spry as he did.
to that end, this is it. That's the
Yeah.
off season after this game.
Right.
He's not
Right.
going to. I think he's going to have plenty. I don't think it's a risk for next year if he.
Right. Hammy's. Yeah. Right.
Hammy's healing him.
Well, Well, as we said before, holy fackerel, you're listening to the Giants guys. Listen, even regardless of what does happen, we're gonna be here recording every Tuesday in the lab, spitting it out to you on Wednesdays. GiantsRush.com is gonna have plenty of content. You know, we still got the film room, and we've got Java with Jones, Coach's Corner. We got Pilgrim's Point when he's has his fackerels. I'm using that word now for basically.
I like it.
everything.
Holy fackerel. Did you see that play?
Exactly. That's what I'm going to say all weekend. Holy fackerel.
What the heck, girl?
You know,
What the
being that-
fackerel?
Exactly. And we'll continue banging out this podcast. We'll have the draft coming up. We're looking towards that, forward to that.
Hopefully push
and
that
listen,
back a couple weeks.
And
Probably-
hopefully that's gets pushed back for a couple, because guess what, people? Stop being bitches.
Yeah.
Okay? Let them
Agreed.
just let this team win and have some fun. You've
One
been
time. Come on.
hating. I've never seen the Gettleman Jones hate more than this week is crazy.
Yeah.
Just
We
look
all-
at people.
We all
Lose.
wanted December competitive December football, and we have competitive
Week
December football for
week
better or worse.
17.
Seriously.
Come on, get
People.
aboard, get on board.
Seriously, we were
Hop
1-7. We were 1-7 at one
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Right?
Right? It's not. Listen, whether Gettleman goes or not is completely irrelevant at this point.
Right.
Let the players play. See where the chips lie, and we'll figure it out as we go. It's the last game of the season. Can you imagine Seattle coming to MetLife in a playoff game? Like
Or
come
Tom
on,
Brady.
people.
Tom
Yeah,
Brady.
Brady
Do
coming.
you remember when we had Lawrence Tynes on, and it was when the Giants were playing really good football, and we were talking about the licking that we were going to give Dallas week 17 because they looked like crap and we were just steamrolling? Man, a lot can change in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
All right. So thanks for hanging out with us. We are the Giants guys. Check us out on YouTube. We want you to subscribe. We need you to subscribe. Support us. Let
boys
us
and
know that you
girls.
like what bang it out on these guys will bang it out on Facebook because I think they actually do that Facebook thing, which I do not. And you know what? Let's get a little kumbaya going. You guys have been hating me all week because of the Dave Gettleman thing. I don't care if Dave Gettleman stays or goes. I told you, all I want is a tall, fast receiver that catches the ball and a pass rusher that gets sacks. I don't care
No
about
big
anything
deal.
else.
No
That's
big
it.
deal.
Exactly. My
So,
Christmas
well,
wish list.
Easy peasy.
Lemon
Yeah.
squeezy. Maybe in the
All right.
draft we just go edge wide receiver till we have no more picks.
Stack
By
them
the
up.
way, that would be genius. You're
Somebody's
listening
going to
to the
work
Giants
out.
guys, NYGiantsRush.com. Check these guys out on Twitter. We are OUT out. Peace.